Friday, everyone. We have a fun cardio blaster for you guys today. I'm going to give you a couple different options on this workout on the workout description today. We're going to have this one, an alternate version of this work set, and a sprint variation of this one. So depending on what you'd like to take down today, please have some fun with this one. I'm also going to have inside and outside variations for you guys to pick and choose from in the workout description. So please make this workout yours in terms of what you have access to and just have a ton of fun. So really enjoy this one, take it down, and we'll see where it takes us today. But before we get to the work set, let's talk about the warm-up. Good morning, a sumo squat for 3 to 5 reps. Single leg good morning with rotation of 3 to 5 a side. Side scale raise for 3 to 5 a side, and a single leg RDL for 3 a side. Just to really prime up those legs and get things fired up for you guys. 1 to 2 rounds of that. Then we're going to move into this next phase, which is just going to be primarily focused on getting you ready for what's to come in the workout. Dumbbell Sumo Deadlift high pull for 3 to 5 a side, and a light to moderate load. So this should not be a heavy weight because we are looking at some higher volume for this workout today. So please keep that weight light and movable. From there, we have a run of 100 or 200 meters or a farmer's carry of 50 to 100 meters, depending on what you'd like to do to warm yourself up for that, to figure out your working loads. And then you're going to do some skipping, ankle popping, and some in-out hops for 20 seconds. You're going to pick one of those, play around with all of them. I'll even show you a nice progression with the heel tap as well, moving into this piece. And you're going to take this down as many rounds as you need to get yourself fired up and ready for the workout to come. The workout to come is 10 rounds. Woo! 25 sumo deadlift high pulls aside into our run of 200 meters and our double under of 50 reps, or again, cardio piece of choice that I'll have in there for some different options. So again, this is all about creating your own little work set. Have fun with those options. Pick the one you'd like and see where it takes you today. So let's have some fun with it. Let's get you warmed up and get you ready to go. All right, let's move around a little bit, you guys. Let's get those feet under those hips. We're gonna take the arms big and tall up overhead. We're gonna reach it over to one side. We're gonna come back through and reach it to the other side. We'll come back to the center, take it all the way to the floor as we touch those toes. Walk up those shins. Come down, framing a foot, stepping back into our lizard. We're gonna work on that lower half. We're gonna lower the knee. We're gonna press that hip. We're gonna come back through, straightening out the leg and then straightening out the front leg. Planting that foot, lower down, press the hip. Come back through, straighten and straighten. Planting that foot down, press, center, straighten and straighten. Let's plant that foot. We'll step back into our down dog. We're just going to start with just pressing the heel and holding. Just holding that position for a few breaths. Switch it over to the other side, working that big toe staying down. And then come back into our plank as we step the other foot up into that nice lizard. We're going to lower the back knee, gently press the hip. We'll come back through, straighten, and then straighten out the leg. Plant the foot lower, press the hip, come to center, straighten and straighten. And last one, we'll lower, press that hip. Come back through, straighten and straighten. We're going to plant the foot. We'll step back into our down dog as we reach those hips. Walk the heel back and forth. Nice and gentle. Nice and easy. Just wake up our calves, our feet, our ankles. And then we'll come back into that plank as we tiptoe those feet up. Rolling ourselves all the way up overhead. Big stretch. Take those hands back down. Whew. Let's get ourselves fired up. So let's warm ourselves up nice and steady. If there's any extra stuff you need to kind of get yourself moving with, pause the video, take that down now. We're going to start focusing on that lower half, just getting those legs ready for what's to come. All right, our first phase of our warm-up is going to kickstart into a sumo stance. So I'm going to turn profile for you guys, turning into that position. We're going to set those hips nice and neutral. We're going to draw the hips back into that nice hinge, finding that position. Then we'll stand up nice and tall. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take those hips down towards those heels. So pushing those knees out into that good deep squat with that nice solid open stance. So So again, focusing on our hinge, feeling the hamstrings, keeping the weight through the midfoot, and then again in our squat, keeping our weight through the midfoot, but really pushing those legs out, working on that sumo squat to help open up those hips, ankles, and knees. Once we're done 3 to 5 of those at a just nice steady pace, we're going to bring our feet underneath of our hips, get one foot out to the front nice and straight, hips are square, hands are going to stay to the center. We're going to pull the hip back and then rotate towards that lead leg and then stand tall. So we're working on whatever rotation our body will allow us to hit. With that rotation, don't worry if you can't touch the knee. It's not a big deal. What we want to focus on is body position in the hinge. So really good back position, square hip in the hinge, and just wherever that T-spine will allow you to come down to in that rotation. And just ease into that nice and slow because again, to balance is a big factor here as well. If we try and go too fast, we end up falling over and we kind of lose that engagement through the hamstring. Plus we might end up on our butt, which we don't want to do. After those single-legged mornings with rotation, we're going to find some more balance work. We're going to get ourselves set up. Toe pointing, so the top of the foot points straight ahead. Hands can be where they need to be for balance, even at like kind of a loose touch of a counter or a couch or chair. And we're going to lift that leg up, keeping that leg nice and straight. We're going to use that glute, so we're picking it up to the side. Always keeping the top of the foot to the straight ahead so that we're not turning and lifting the leg up basically straight. We want to make sure we're using that kind of glute and that side body to lift the leg up opposed to turning the hip and squaring off that hip to lift. Because then you're just kind of doing a funky front scale raise opposed to a side scale. So top of the toe, or sorry, top of the foot point straight ahead. Again, lifting with control, coming back down, trying to keep a straight line of action from the foot, hip, and shoulder. We have 3 to 5 reps of those, nice and steady. Then we're going to move into the back portion of our body, into our single leg RDL, just empty-handed. If you want to add load to this, you're more than welcome to, but we're just really trying to prime up your hamstring just a tad. So we're going to get our feet underneath of our hips. We're going to slide that foot into our kickstand, our hips nice and square. We're going to draw the hip back towards the back of the room, keeping a soft knee and standing tall. So we're really trying to pull the hip back, and that's what creates that hip hinge, just like our good morning. Very similar, except we're focusing on one leg. Something that can be really helpful as well is if you have a hard time finding that hamstring engagement, you can take the kickstand leg and put it up against the wall. So about a foot distance away from the wall, this foot is based against the wall, and the wall will really help you find that hinge and that hamstring as you work on finding those positions. So use that if you like. The wall option is a great reference point for us to play with and to help effectively find those key engagement points. As a quick recap, we have a good morning to sumo squat, 3 to 5 reps. We have a single leg RDL with single leg good morning with rotation for 3 to 5 aside, into a side scale for 3 to 5, and then we have our single leg RDL for 3 aside without load, or if you need to, you can load that a little bit, but keep it light. We're just using it to charge up the hamstring. We're going to hit that for 1 to 2 rounds, maybe even a third if you want to give yourself a little bit more time to kind of prime yourself up a little bit. Please be my guest, take that down, and then we're going to get ourselves our heart rate and getting that dumbbell kind of moving a little bit more so in this next phase. So pause, rock that first half, come back and join me for the next phase. All right, we warmed up with these yesterday in preparation for our snatches. So what we can play around with today is a really nice opportunity to kind of hone this in and use this as our focal point of the workout. Now, we have 3 separate different variations of this workout that are on the workout description, so check it out. The sprint variation is going to be a cool one if you're looking at a little less volume in the sumo. You're going to keep that heart rate high, and you're going to keep things moving pretty steady, but it's not going to be as much volume there in the sumo. So check that out if you're interested. But keeping it in mind, regardless of doing the sprint version or this version on the main site, all right, the loading is light to moderate, so it should be something you are comfortable pulling for high volumes steadily and repeatedly. So keep that in mind in terms of searching for load. When in doubt, go on the more conservative side for loading today. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna get ourselves set up over top of the dumbbell. So we're nice and set and it's right underneath of us. I'm just gonna turn profile so you guys can see my hip position. I'm gonna draw the hips back and down so I'm nice and square to the front. I'm weighted through the midfoot and I have a good position here. I'm gonna go through a nice deadlift first so you guys can see that full open leg and hip because that's gonna feed into the high pull. So what we're gonna do in the high pull is build speed. We're gonna push through the legs, building speed on the dumbbell, and we're gonna guide the dumbbell up to that high and outside position. Pushing through the legs, letting the speed move into the dumbbell, and then let the arm guide the dumbbell to that high and outside. So we're coming up into this nice scarecrow position. So the elbow guides the show back and up, almost like we're trying to take our thumb towards our armpit. All right? So from the front, looks like so. I get myself ready, pushing through the legs, and I pull. Keeping in mind that this arm does not start to move or be used until those hips and legs are open. So if we start pulling too soon, before those hips, all right, are open, we're using our arm way too much, and that's gonna gas out real fast. So we wanna use those legs as much as we can and work on that order of operations of leg, hip, arm. Now with this, we're gonna do 3 to 5 per side, getting a good flow. If you'd like to do a first round just with a nice sumo deadlift, just to kind of wake the hips up first, that's totally legit, totally fine. Once we're done our dumbbell sumo deadlift high pull, 3 to 5 aside, we're gonna go for a little run, butt kick, cardio piece of choice, whatever you're using to get ready and substituting for the run in the workout, you're gonna warm that up. A couple key points if you're doing some butt kicks, what we're gonna focus on is getting that body nice and tall, holding onto that imaginary tissue paper. We're gonna pull that foot up underneath of the glute, and we're gonna pull it back down. So we're gonna take that nice smooth march back and forth in our pose method position. So we're pulling with the hamstring and the glute to get that foot underneath of that hip. So we're nice and solid, and we create this figure 4 position in our body, opposed to our foot being way back here, and or our foot being here, like our standing march. So our standing march and our butt kick are 2 separate positions, and we're using 2 different sets of muscles for that. So make sure we're focused on those positions. The butt kick can be taken at whatever speed you want, walking, marching, running, sprinting pace, but we want to make sure that that foot is being pulled up underneath of the hip. Last but not least, we have some skipping, ankle pops, and in-out hops. And you can kind of play around with this kind of triplet here. I just want you to warm up those ankles somehow and practice some skipping skill, even if you're not going to be skipping in the workout. So a couple different variations that I like to play with this nice sequence we've done in the past. Toes and heels come together, nice and tall through the core, relax shoulders and arms. We're going to work the heel tap. So we're just working on those gentle little taps, relaxing the arms and shoulders as we keep the core a little bit tight. So we're just working on those very, very subtle taps with the heels, trying to stay balanced. Now from here, we can move into our ankle pops. We're gonna pull the hands up as if we're gonna put them in our pockets. We're gonna relax the arms and elbows, get the knees and the feet a little bit more involved as they kind of give and rebound a little bit more, allowing that nice hop and that power jump. So we're jumping a little higher, allowing those knees and hips, knees and ankles to kind of do more opposed to just that tap, tap, tap. Right? So we're slowly getting a little bit more intensive, a little bit more explosive. From there, you can start skipping if you'd like with the rope, kind of warming up those key points that we just worked on in the heel tap and the ankle pop. Or you can work on some in-out hops. So we're gonna get our feet into our kind of squat stance. We're going to work on that nice little in-out hop, fast, slow, or steady, just working on some rhythm and working on getting those ankles kind of involved and working on that coordination side of things. So we're just trying to speed things up a little bit, get the heart rate going, get the mind working with the feet for that coordination side of things for about 20 seconds each, or working 10 to 15 seconds per piece in a nice little complex. So a nice little hopping complex. That's what we're looking for at the end. From there, you're gonna start it again, take it down for another couple rounds. So we have our dumbbell sumo deadlift high pull for 3 to 5 a side. If you'd like, again, working through some deadlifts those first couple rounds to open up the hips and get the legs ready for the drive. A little bit of running, butt kick, wall run, cardio piece of choice there, whatever it happens to be. And then moving into our little hopping complex. So it could be skip, ankle pop, in, out, hop. It could be heel tap. It could be into our ankle pop into the skip, double under practice, whatever you'd like to work on that's gonna get that heart rate going, your mind going, and those feet going. Hit this up anywhere from 1 to 5 rounds to get that heart rate and your body ready, and then get primed up for what's to come for you in the work set. So pause it, rock it, come join me for our workout description. All right, you guys, we've made it to the work set. We have 10 rounds of work. We have a dumbbell sumo deadlift high pull for 25 a side. So working through that bigger set of work, all right, light to moderate loading. If you don't have light to moderate loading and you only have heavier dumbbells, I'm gonna have an option on there for some less volume, working through 5, 5, kind of alternating back and forth until you hit that number on the workout description. From there, you're gonna go for a 200-meter run, or you're gonna go for a 100-meter farmer's carry, depending on what option you're choosing or variation of the workout you're going for. And then we're gonna hit up 50 double unders or a variation of that skip in the workout description. So check the bottom of the workout description. There'll be 3 variations of this workout. A longer one, so you're gonna have to pace it out a little bit more. A non-running variation of the same longer variation of the workout, and then a sprint version. So the sprint version is gonna be a little less volume, but it's gonna be faster and more aggressive. So if you wanna play around with these things, have some fun, check the one you wanna take on, and then put your movements in there to see which one and where you're gonna go with this work set. It's gonna be a great Friday. I hope you guys enjoy this one. This is one of those workouts where you can just kind of open up the tank and take it down. Always working for quality in those dumbbell sumo deadlift high pulls, but always having a good time. So have fun, enjoy. We're gonna see you tomorrow to close out our week. Have a great time with some programming coming in to close out October. Holy cow, it's already here. So it's amazing how fast October went by. But we'll have a good way to close out this month. So enjoy, see you tomorrow.